Namaste, Sitaram, Jai Shri Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya, devotees, brothers and sisters. Once again, by the grace of that Supreme Lord, I'm extremely grateful that you have joined this 10th session of Living with Mantras, or more correctly, Living with a Mantra. We started this session since November, and we started with the basic mantra of Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Vunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai. And we pray that in that interceding period that you have seen slight changes to your life. Not that any one of you would have had any hatred for anyone, but just to remind yourself that sometimes animosities and temptations can come to you. And who then do you dislike, or who then do you hate? On this beautiful, what we call diagram or picture that we have on screen, it shows very clearly that your Atma is genuinely part of the universal body of souls. You are kindred, what we call Atmics. In this world, cultures, religion, and creed have created lots of animosities and enmities among our human beings because of particular persuasions or lack of the true knowledge of our Atma. We are taking this from the direction of our scriptures and our Rishi teachings, that these have come from time immemorial, and they're all truly universal. So we will go back today, and what we will do, we will just recite this beautiful mantra again, offering adorations to Ganesh Bhagwan, but not only the what we call the personal form of Ganesh. This mantra, most important, addresses the universal nature of that Supreme Lord. And all of us pray to the Supreme Lord. It could be Ganesh, we may call him. We may call him on some days Bhagwan Shri Krishna. We may call him the Supreme Brahm. We may call him Bhagwan Shankar. Or we may call her Jagadambe Mata. But the supreme creative principle remains the same. So let us start right away with chanting this nice opening mantra, which I hope that you will be able to follow with me. But we start with Om. And I will be making and editing out what we call the OM for Om. And we will always use AUM, and we will explain why it is important that we stick to the correct spelling and the correct pronunciation of Om, so we do not lose the benefit. And that would be the main direction of this evening, of living with this one word mantra, Om. So let us start. Om. Again. Om. One more time. Aum. Namaste Ganapataye. Tvameva pratyaksham tattvamasi. Tvameva kevalam kartasi. Tvameva kevalam dhartasi. Tvameva kevalam hartasi. Tvameva sarvam kalvidam brahmasi. Om tvam saksh atmasi nityam. O Supreme Lord, you are indeed the underlying life of this universe. You underlying the seen and the unseen. You are Tvameva Kevalam Karitasi. O Bhagwan, you are indeed the creator, but you are responsible for the recycling of this universe. when it comes to its natural end. But most important, in between the creation and the dissolution, you are Tvameva Kevalam Haritasi. O Supreme Lord, you keep this world intact and pleasant for us. Tvameva Sarvam Kalvidam Brahmasi. Indeed, Lord, without any question, you're indeed the Supreme Brahm. You're indeed the Atma of this universe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And what is important, although we recite this as one mantra, essentially it is 4 separate mantra. And of course, the Om that precedes each line is indeed and verily a very powerful mantra on its own. And that is why when we go back now on the skills of chanting Om, we have to chant it very slowly. And knowing what you are doing, you're igniting the fire of your devotion that lies within you. So let us try and do the 3 syllables, Om. Why 3 syllables? Because directly, the way how we chant it, we started, let us say, from the lower level of our throat. Then we come with our mouth open, and then we end with our mouth closed. So like this, if you put your finger on your voice box, on your vocal cord like this, and you just gently press it to do the then as you gradually, with mouth half closed, you do the oo. So let's start with and then the oo. Ooh. Then finally, when you do the M, the ma, you close your mouth. So let us do it in 3 separate actions. So the ma is normally done with a silent or a closed lips. And you will note that at no time in the intervening period did we use our tongue. So this sound is a sound of every single being with tongue, without a tongue. So therefore, if we chant it now, but with the emphasis that it is made up of 3 syllables, but the beauty with Sanskrit, and this is where the Om comes in, is that when the and the U are combined, it sounds like Om. But let us not shorten it for the purpose of your meditation. So in order to get the full benefit, you have to emphasize the Om. 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 So the purpose of the Om is this universal power or energy to bless you with what you desire. So the first word of this mantra is, of the first line we have inserted is Om Shanti. So in invoking the totality of all of the divine energy, you're expressing, O Supreme Lord, the benefactor of this whole universe, endow me with all forms of Shanti. or what we would call divine peace, material peace, peace around us, peace within us. So let us do Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. And we pray in just one of the first line. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. O Lord, O Supreme Lord, let every single Atma in this universe have their well-being satiated. Let everything be good about them. Let everything, all forms of happiness, all forms of completeness, all forms of auspiciousness be unto them. And then we said that, look, where do you pray or what praise? In this beautiful bhajan, we explain that we must not make the mistake in thinking that only human beings offer adorations to the Supreme Lord. For the rishis told us that even the birds flying in the sky, as they are flying, they meditate on the Supreme Lord. Even the whale and the big animals of the sea and the little animals of the sea, they also pay obeisance to that Supreme Lord who provides them with water, who provides them with oxygen, who provide them with what we call the intellectual ability to navigate the oceans of this world. This, the bhajan says in the third verse, करते हैं जंगल में मंगल पक्षी गण हर शाख पर पाते हैं आनंद मिल गाते है स्वर भर धन्यवाद आज मिल सब गीत गाओ उस प्रभु के धन्यवाद. So the song that you will sing or how you will pray to this Lord. If you're short of prayers, don't give up on Om. Hold on to Om, because in doing Om, you're also going what we call put energy into your prana or to your life force. So we will do that. Next mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Shantu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashit Dukha Bhave. And the second line is Sarve, not no other. And the third and the second word is Om Sarve Santu Niramaya. May all beings be free from all forms of illness. So as we sit down and we want goodwill to all, and when we realize that our Atma in you is the same as the Atma in anybody else, we then send all forms of thoughts of goodwill to them. Now it matters not who may not wish you well. That is their Atma and that is their karma. But knowing what you know now, that you have this knowledge to show that your Atma is pure, your Atma is radiated, your Atma is full of energy, your Atma radiates from you to every other living and what we call non-living entity. So your Atma or your energy is in contact, let us say, with the inanimate things around you. And if you may want to know how this works, devotees, let us say one day you cannot find your spectacles and you cannot find your keys. What do? You close your eyes and you meditate and you send out the thoughts of where that object is. And you will be amazed that when the thinking goes to that object, it radiates back to you. And then, of course, you go where you have left it to find that it responded to the beautiful thoughts again. So we move on again let's move on. And then we started last week session with that's the Shanti part. We shan't do the Shanti part, but it's beautiful in understanding this Shanti part. And this is where we started last week, or we ended last week. So devotees, this is a phenomenally powerful set of mantras. It has 3 lines. Every mantra or each line is indeed so powerful that if we were to understand it and just focus on a word in that mantra, you will be amazed at the changes in your life. As human beings, we must look and see how the great and the powerful used mantras. All of the greatest saints in this world, or the greatest bhaktas in this world, they only use a one-word mantra. Let us look at the greatest Shiva Bhakt of all. He was Ravan. Ravan only chanted the name of Bhagwan Shiva not only millions of times, but for multitudes of years and years. He did not move until Bhagwan came and asked him, what do you want? What boon do you want? But he didn't chant many mantras. He chanted a mantra that suited him. And this is an important concept. Many of you will have what we call a frequency or a vibration, let us say, to a particular deity. That deity could be Bhagwan Sri Ram. So you chant the name of Ram only, do not jump. Then if you're a bhakt of Bhagwan Shiva, you chant the name of Bhagwan Shiva. Then if you're a bhakt of Jagadambe Mata, you chant any name of Durga Ma or Mata Saraswati or Mata Lakshmi. It depends on your needs. This is the key. And have every assurance. Om Shivaya Namaha. So the Om is critical because the Om gives the protection of the object of your mantra and empowers that name. So this Om empowers the Shiva energy, or the Om empowers the Durga energy, or the Om is in itself all powerful. And this is beautiful. This Om itself can stand on its own. It does not need anything else, just to chant it correctly and over a long period of time. And if you would like to have an exercise, is that, let us say, for the next 30 days, or from now until Shivratri, or from now until Hanuman Jayanti, give yourself a target that every morning as I wake up, I will chant only Om. You can do your other mantras, but give Om a very, very high priority of this chanting, because Om stands on its own. And there's a very, very nice bhajan that we all learned, or you would have learned as a child or as going to temple. It goes like this. Chanchal man nita om japa kar, om japa kar om. Everyone. Chanchal man nita om japa kar, om japa kar om. Phala phala chin chin, ghari ghari nis din. Phala phala chin chin, ghari ghari nis din. Om japa kar, om japa kar, om japa kar om. प्रात समय की सुख वेला में संध्या की पुलकित रजनी में रोम रोम से निकली तेरी Om Japa Kara Om. So as we take this mantra Om, we take it when it's the writer is saying, oh man, your mind wavers so much. Your mind is very fickle, and you know with a fickle mind, you cannot achieve anything in this world. One of the greatest philanthropists of this modern world, his name was Dale Carnegie. He came from very ordinary background. And as a result of his dedication and focus, he was directed into the path that made him among the richest individuals even today. He became so rich that the US Senate questioned him to see whether he was committing any fraud or had developed this large sum of wealth by any what we call not correct means. In front of the Senate, he went and he says, you're all asking me how I was able to get what I got. And he said, this is how. I'm able to focus without wavering for 5 minutes and more. Then said to them, I want all of you senators in front of me now to focus for 5 minutes. No need to say, not one of them were able to keep their focus for more than a few minutes or even a minute. And this is what Om does to us, even that it teaches us focus so that our mind does not waver. So whatever you set to do by uttering this mantra or this prayer over and over, you will be amazed that you can become a great musician. When you're dancing, your focus would be so perfect that you will not miss a beat. When you are a physicist or you're a linguist or if you're a doctor, can you imagine if you're a doctor and you have the scalpel in your hands and you're not focused, what would happen? So chanting of Om guarantees that you will have immense focus. And so this bhajan says, oh fickle mind and wavering mind, keep chanting the word Om in every second, ghari ghari, every second and every minute of your life. What it means is that you must be conscious of your divinity every moment of your life, so then you would become alive. The definition of being not alive is that when you are not conscious of your divinity, but you're just you live an existence without no consciousness. So having a practice of this mantra, Om, 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 as you constant practice this word when you're in your car, when you're walking, you will be amazed that no form of misfortune can ever come onto you because you are being protected by the most powerful vibration known to man because it was there before man. Last time we defined Atma and we says that, look, one moment. 1 second, please. Yeah, we defined Atma just as the Atma is the reality underlying the conscious powers of the individual. So the Supreme Soul is the eternal quiet underneath the drive and activity of the universe. And so this is where the Atmic soul is also powered by Om, because Om is verily the supreme Brahm. Om is verily the Atma. So learning and mastering Om, which means you will be mastering a totality of mantras and a totality of benefits from chanting mantras by just mastering this one mantra that gives you what we call balance, that gives you focus. So once you're focused, as Swami Vivekananda said, you give me one focused person, and I can guarantee you that this world will change. So, devotees, we started last week again on the power of the mind. And before we move on to the next session, it is very important that I ask you the question that, look, we are here for a purpose. But what I would like you to consider, after this session finished this evening, is to sit down with a sheet of paper and write down this question, what is my real purpose of being gifted this body to house my Atma? And what you do with this question, you have many what we call lines coming off of this question, and you have your alternative answer. And once you're able to do that, you will then be able to define your purpose to make the world a better good, a better place, to contribute to human society. So all of those things will come in. This diagram in front of you was placed here because it wanted to teach us or to give us a demonstration of what a perfect balanced person, when Om is what we call being chanted by every cell of the human body, then you genuinely emit all of the spectrum of the rainbow or all of the spectrum of colors. You are perfectly balanced. So devotees, we went through all of that last week. So let us go to what we are supposed to do today. Today, we want to go through this mantra, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Let us, 1 second, get to this mantra. So if I get to the mantra, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. So, my dear brothers and sisters and fellow travelers on this planet, all of us, one way or another, are influenced by our nature. And you must be able to know what your nature is. Otherwise, you will not be able to change lifelong habits, which are very self-destructive. According to our rishis, they defined us into what we call tamas, tamogun, rajogun, or satogun. So you're tamasic in nature, or you have your rajasic in nature, or you are sattvic in nature. All of us at one point or another are able to demonstrate what we call qualities of greatness and goodness, as is shown in the white and the satogund. And sometimes when you're really angry, when you have become so vicious, you have become so what we call not of a good nature, you have become so covetous, then your tamasic nature comes to the top. And if you allow this tamasic nature to rule you, then the color, all black things come into your life. All forms of unhappiness will come because you have practiced things that create bad karma. We then have to move on. Let us say, if we want to go down and understand what is this tamasic nature, What are the characteristics of Thomasic nature or the various gunas? So Thomasic nature, when we are in the mode of tamogund, we are exhibiting what we call, in a simple language, inertia. You know, we can go to bed at 10 and we can get out of bed at 11 a.m. in the day when the sun has risen for 2 or 3 hours. As a result of that, we become very lethargic. We become what we call a demonstration of all forms of inactivity. We do not exercise our body or our mind. We become what we call very lazy. And as a result of that, we become very negative in our behavior. When we become negative in our behavior, we believe the whole world is against us. Why don't they like me? Why are they criticizing me? Why is my boss so difficult with me? You know, because you're negative and you're lazy and you're not a good person to have in a company. So therefore, you also, what we call, do not educate yourself. You're not very articulate. You do not have a passion for anything. But also you can be very, what we call, deluded. You can have what we call a wrong idea of yourself, like what I said above, negative. You can believe the whole world is against you, nothing right will happen to you. I hope none of you can identify with this. And that is why we pray in the first line of this mantra, in the third line of this mantra, Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. One more time. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. As you recite Shanti and Om, immediately what happens? Your body balances itself and you feel calm. So, and the more often you can do that, is the more your life will change, the more you will be free of diseases, and the more you will be free of all forms of illnesses. So, devotees, let us chant the first word of this mantra, Om Asato Ma Sat Gamaya. And I sit down, I said, well, look, what is the basic definition of Om as we know it? Because the definition of Om is that Om is everything. Om is all. This sound has the greatest impact. This sound energizes all life forms. That's, of course, my typo. So it should be S. All life forms within you. When they are at their optimum, then you say you are feeling well. Devotees, sometimes we think we are the only thing that matters within our body, but you're the last thing that matters within your body. I would just like to remind you, you're only alive because of the living things within you. Inside your body are trillions of cells. They are muscle cells, they are heart cells, they are cells of the liver, cells of the kidney, cells of the pancreas. And in an overcoming or overpowering all of those are the billions of cells that are in your intestines and the microbes that are in your intestines. Each one of them is alive. Each one of them has an Atma. So essentially, although you think you are one being, you are essentially a collection of billions and billions of living beings within you. And therefore, you have a responsibility for the well-being of those living entities. So what happens if you're a smoker? Or what happens when you consume alcohol? Certainly, you cannot say that you are taking care of the entities that resides within you. So Om is everything. Om is the vibration by which the supreme energy, supreme creative energy, brings all things into manifestation. And the probably the word for it, in the beginning there was only the sound of this universe, and this sound was Om. This is a way for all the musicians who are in line today. In the olden days, especially in India, all of the harmoniums were tuned at 432 megahertz. Some are still, because our classical musicians realize that music is the best form of worship. And the term Om, when chanted correctly, also resonates at 432 megahertz. And this is what we call the healing power of your body. Every mantra, or this mantra, has the power to heal the broken cells of your body. Many of you, or you may know families or someone who has immense what we call problems within the body, where they may have inflammation, they may have pain. Now you know that you can heal yourself. When the Lord gave you this beautiful human body, He gave you the tools to cure it. He gave you the tools to look after it. And one of the greatest tools is meditating on Om. So let us chant Om for about 1 minute. And then we will go on to just simple meaning of how you can use this sound as your only mantra to live your life of what we call benefactor or benediction. So live a life of completeness, live a life of bliss. So let us chant. Om. Aum. 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 Om. Aum. 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 So you will get it right if you start by opening your mouth really big. So you start with a big mouth, then a semi-closed mouth, and then a closed mouth. So you will get the correct pronunciation. Let's now start remembering to start with your mouth really open and let the sound come from the bottom of your throat. Ah, Om. Aum. Aum. And as you go forward, what you need to do, the the u, and the ma must be of equal, what we call length. So there is equal emphasis on what we call the creation, the maintenance, and the dissolution of this, what we call the energies. So all manifestation is created and preserved in the creative state for some time, then eventually destroyed. Om, therefore, encompasses the three vibratory energies required to create, preserve, and destroy. And each of these energy vibrates at a different frequency. And this is very special to you because every day you want to be able to create something, but also you want to maintain that which is good, and you want to have the strength to destroy that which is not good for you. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Paraswa Yad Bhadram Tana Aswa. So this mantra, it goes with this meaning of Om. Om Vishwani Deva. Om Vishwani, O Lord of this whole universe. Savitar Duritani Paraswa. Duritani, that which is not good, that which is not wholesome, that which is inauspicious. O Lord, take it away very, very quickly. And then Yad Bhadram Tana Aswa. Bring on to me by your protective energy all that which is good. So let us go back to Om. 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 Now, there is a picture of Om in front of you showing the various level of radiative energy. What I would like you to do as part of this living with mantra chanting, I would like you to pick someone, let us say if um, who, if you have family in America or Mauritius or Guyana or Canada or India or China, and then focus on that person. And as you're chanting this Om, I would like you to direct your energy that comes from this Om to that person. I can guarantee you, as you're doing that, you will get a call today, tomorrow, and they say, I was really thinking about you at this particular moment in time. So let us do Om a few times with intensity. You can close your eyes at this stage and do it, but push the vibrations of benevolence, of good thoughts, of healing and good wishes to that person as this exercise in Om. And remember, this is not only for 8 to 9 on a Friday night, but you do this tomorrow and the next day. So let us start. Om. 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 So devotees, when should you use this mantra? You can use it individually at any times, but when it becomes powerful, let us say you're at home with your family and your mom or your child or your husband or your wife or somebody is in hospital and they're in a critical state and you're not there to help them, then what you do, you pray. You pray and you send out thoughts of benevolence and healing to that person. So, what you call, you intercede to make yourself counted, to make your presence on this globe be for the benefit of at least one person. And this is the real consciousness and the power of Om. No other mantras at this stage would be required if that is what, because when you hold hands together, especially if there are 2 or 3 persons, you sit around the table and you hold hands and let the energy of the three of you combined into one energy and to one radiation light and go to heal the object of whom you are trying to pray. So let us do it 3 more times. And remember to send your thoughts of love and healing and affection and gratitude to whoever you want it to go to. Om. Om. Om Shanti. 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 in concluding, let us say you're doing your session of prayers with Om and you have more than yourself, the Shanti at the end of every minute is very important, because then you're imagining all forms of peace and contentment in the object of your prayer. So this is where prayer become very selfless. Whether we want to admit it or not, prayers come back to you. Your good thoughts come back to you. That is why we are advised never to think evil of anyone, never to gossip about anyone, never to wish anyone bad, because it may not affect them, but because you are saying something, your word becomes you. And I emphasize, let our word be benevolent. We must always use kind words. Kind words bring back kindness to you. There is a nice series of mantra in what we recite during Navratri, and they go like this. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samseta Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Now what we do the mantra but with Om. Om Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Samsita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. And devotees, because of the amount or the number of times you need to repeat and to recite each mantra, because it's a number game, the power grows exponentially by the number of times you dedicate to focus mantra chanting. So let us say we were chanting the last mantra for Shanti, and you will want peace in your life because there are upheavals. So you focus on Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Now, there are many Upanishads. There are many verses in the Bhagavad Gita. There are many mantras dedicated to Ganesh Bhagwan, which says that he is what we call the form of Om. Verily, if you look at this Om carefully, what you will see, it's a form. It has that universal form of Ganapati. Or it has a universal form, if you do not want to attach it to a name, it has a universal form of benevolence and energy. So to further your study, this is what we call the Mandukya Upanishad. This Upanishad deals exclusively with the power of the Om. The Bhagavad Gita, especially chapter 7 and chapter 9, has many verses where the Supreme Lord in his Vishwarup form says, verily, I am the Om. I am the destination of the Om. And the syllable Om is imperishable. All that will survive this world is the sound. We may go. In fact, this earth may go, but Om will never go, because Om was here at the beginning or even before the beginning. And it was Om, or the sound, that created this universe. It is sound vibration that creates and creates and creates. It is sound vibration that also dissolves. So this brings me to another advice to enhance your dharmic life. Your dharmic life is based on what we call taking the blessings of vibrations. Every time you sit down to do your pratna or to do bhajan and kirtan, you must always have a half glass of water in front of you. For the living molecules of the water will take all of the vibrations of your mantra And as you consume that water, then you will be amazed at the power. It becomes highly medicinal. So we now go to the mantra that we'll chant. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Again. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Again. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. And let's go back. Om. Let Shanti, Shanti. So the second line of this mantra is very important. Om Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. And this why this is important is that you want something to be moved or to be transferred to somewhere else. And what you're asking is that, look, I want to move from Tamogund to Satogund, because Rajasic nature and Tamasic nature have many what we call interlapping that can be destructive. So what you want is that to be of good nature. Let you be blessed. Om Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. O Supreme Lord, remove from me all of those qualities that are not good for me, and then what? Replace them by sattvic nature. So then you're in harmony with everything. You're positive with everything. You always are of a peaceful nature. You're very clear in your relationship with everyone. You are what we call, you're very light in the sense that you emit very beautiful energy. You're also creative nature, your openness, and you're extremely intelligent. Why this is important? Many people who want to be successful in life would say, so you want me to be a yogi, you don't want me to be rich, and you do not want me to be successful. On the contrary, devotees, brothers and sisters, friends, is that with sattvic quality, you would then have all that it requires for you to become successful in every area of life, of business and work. Can you imagine that when you go to the office, you have a positive mentality instead of a negative mentality? You're always thinking of peace and how to get on with people instead of having apathy or dullness. You're always clear. This is such an important quality of an honest person. They are very clear, or they have clarity in their what we call their dealings with you. There is no double standard. In fact, they are not what we call schizophrenics or two-faced. And this is the only way you will make it genuinely in the long run. You can cheat and get ahead a little bit for a short period. You can be very devious and you may hurt someone, but in the end, you cannot escape from the law of karma. So having a sattvic nature, Om Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Om Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Or, as we said, if we want to leave out the tamas, Om Jyotirgamaya, Om Om Jyotirgamaya. And as you know, when you do your Rig Veda Havan, beautiful mantra, Om Agnir Jyotir Agni Swaha. So having this Jyotir or your divinity, what we call at full blaze within you, gives you immense knowledge. So you become a person that this world wants to treasure or this world wants to value. Devotees, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amrita Gamaya. We pray that let you be blessed with the Jyotir. Let us skip the Rajas because Rajas is very important. But when you have sattvic in nature, you have all of the best, what we call royal qualities or Raja qualities. Because to be a king, you need to have strong strength. You need to make good decision. You need to be on the move. But as a king, you are doing that from a dharmic point of view. So you want to be praying again that you be blessed, that your Jyoti be inspired by Om. So let us chant Om and then we will conclude. Om. Om. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Again, Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Again. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. So devotees, hold on to the Om and hold on to the Shanti, and you will be amazed what happens that automatically you'll be inspired in all forms of niyamas as is highlighted in this purple pink diagram, that you would always have contentment in your life. You would always do all forms of charities. You would make time to study your scriptures, your Guru Granth Sahib, the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Bhagavad Gita. But most important, you will be blessed with Ishwar Pranidhana, which means you will be blessed with divine love for all humanity. Om Shanti, Shanti. I will stop the sharing now. So once again, may the Supreme Lord bless each and every one of you. And may life be kind, and always remember to chant Om and Om and Om all the time, because let's explore this Om. And then after this lockdown is finished, I would like us to meet in a Monday or in a hall and just do Om Jape with a view of enhancing our life. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. And as I say goodbye to you, may that Supreme Lord, Jaganambe Mata, Bhavani Mata, Bhagwan Shiva, and Omkar Bhagwan and Ishwar Dayal, Ishwar Kripa be with each and every one of you. Hari Om, Hari Om. Tat Sat.